7,000 people. And I love this state very, very much. Now, if you're a social media person, maybe you're sort of updating your LinkedIn influencing, the hashtag here is Intersekt24. I'm looking forward to the RBA TikToks a little later on, following the roundtables. It's going to be share the word, because we deliberately don't put this out on a streaming service. It is you've got to be in the room where it happens for Intersekt, but share the messages on what's going on. All right, now let's move on to the person I call the man with a plan for scams. Here, Minister for Financial Services and the Assistant Treasurer, Stephen Jones. Stephen, of course, is the member for Whitlam and was first elected to Parliament in 2010. Mate, you're becoming one of the elder statespeople of the Australian Parliament. The seat was originally Throsby. Of course, it was renamed for Whitlam in 2016. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Wollongong and a Bachelor of Laws from my old alma mater, Macquarie University. Prior to Parliament, Stephen worked as a community worker in various frontline disability services. Of course, we've got plenty on the table in the next 2 days. CDR, scams remain. I sort of feel like I'm not famous enough yet to be in a scam. I hope to be one day. But to share more on what's happening, please welcome the Assistant Treasurer to the stage, Stephen Jones.
Thanks so much, Simon. Great to be here. Can I start by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the East Kulin Nation as the traditional custodians of the land on which we're gathered, and thank Elders past, present, emerging for custodianship of culture and country, and of course extend that to any First Nations people who are with us here today. I want to thank Sarah and Rayhan and the FinTech team for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you today. You've nailed the essential ingredients of a gathering such as this. Coffee in the morning, ice cream in the afternoon. Something about ensuring that you keep your audience here. The Honourable Paul Hamer, the Parliamentary Secretary, thanks so much for your opening remarks, but particularly to your government for supporting this important event once again here in Victoria, and for all the work you do encouraging tech and innovation in this city. Simon, you challenged us to weave an Avengers theme through our comments in your opening remarks. And I really did want to reflect upon Robert Downey Jr.'s character Tony Stark in all of this. A genius billionaire who had a sideline in vigilantism and sort of wavered between moments of lucidity and public good. But I just couldn't turn my mind to a real life, real world comparator for that, so I'll move on. Look, I know I'm amongst friends when I say that the digitisation of the economy has brought amazing benefits and productivity enhancements and social enhancements with it. It's opened up new markets, it's generated productivity gains, it's changed literally the way that we live and work. It's made so many of the things that we once paid hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for on a monthly basis almost free. It's disrupted industries, brought forward new professions and businesses, overwhelmingly for the good. It's made it easier to buy and sell products, made it safer to communicate and share information, and it's made an important contribution, incredible contribution in addressing frictions and reducing time-consuming tasks. The government wants to encourage all of these benefits and unlock and spread the benefits of a digital economy. But we also need to acknowledge that there are areas of vulnerability that can lead to economic and consumer and social harms. For example, big tech companies increasingly wield significant market power, and this has sparked a debate about how countries uphold their sovereignty. I want to make it quite clear that my government has an unwavering view that it must be the people of Australia through the Parliament of Australia that determine the laws of our land. If a business is operating here, they should operate in accordance with the businesses, with the laws that are made by the Parliament of our land. This needs to be upheld, and obedience to those laws is the entry price for operating in Australia. It's also important that consumers get good outcomes in a fair and innovative marketplace, because without that, what's the purpose of it all, unless there is a benefit, unless there are end benefit to citizens and consumers. So we want to support genuine competition that delivers consumer-centric, citizen-centric benefits across the economy. Tech has also meant that consumer security must evolve. We've had important conversations about that over the last few months, because data is an essential commodity of the digital economy, and consumers need to be able to trust that both government and business will protect their data and keep it secure. We've seen the loss that accompanies this trust being breached. And if this trust is broken across the economy, consumers will cease to have faith, and they'll withdraw from the mode and the rails of modern commerce. And this will have an impact on all of us. So to enjoy the benefits and opportunities of the digital economy, we need well-functioning markets, we need corporate responsibility, and we need digital security. We've got a whole-of-government effort being rolled out to keep consumers safe, to keep their money safe and to keep their information safe. This is why the government has put so much effort into that over the last 2 years, so that we can all share in the benefits of better services, more choice and safer systems in the digital economy. Privacy concerns are front of mind for Australians, given episodes of cybercrime, data breaches and increasing frauds and scams, which is why we're looking at all the ways that businesses store data. What they collect, why they collect it, how they store it, and how long they need to store it for. And the review of the Privacy Act is asking all of these questions, and we need to ensure that our privacy laws are brought into the digital age. At the moment, they are not. It'll impose higher standards on businesses to ensure that they're keeping customers' data safe. Of course, often the answer to why we're storing so much of this data is because the government tells us we have to. And we have to ensure that there are safer, more secure ways for information to be collected, but also safer, more secure ways for people to verify themselves. Our digital ID systems establishes a simple and secure means for consumers to verify their identity on and offline. This makes it safer and more convenient for consumers. And it reduces the quantity of data that businesses and governments need to hold. Our national cyber security strategy is helping to strengthen our resilience across the economy and improving our defence against cyber criminals. This is about ensuring that the information that is stored and needs to be stored is stored securely. Our legislation to combat misinformation and disinformation will hold digital platforms to account for the content that is spread at speed on their sites. This will keep Australians and our democracy safe from harmful, willfully harmful and false information. We're also modernising the payment system so that it's safe and trusted and drives innovation and productivity, and there's so much work and opportunity for the participants at this conference in this space. All of these initiatives are designed to ensure that there's trust in our digital infrastructure. Of course, keeping information safe is just a precondition. It's not the purpose. Innovation is the purpose. Benefits to consumers and citizens are the purpose. So we want to unlock and enhance the consumer benefits of a digital world and to ensure that these benefits are shared widely. There's a huge opportunity for new players to disrupt the status quo through the use of consumer data, appropriately authorised. Businesses have been quick to recognise the value of consumer data, yet consumers haven't been able to extract the same value to date. So unlocking the value of data can drive competition and foster innovation, which leads to better outcomes for consumers. I recently announced a reset for the consumer data right, providing clarity and direction for innovation and investment. It's a good idea. It wasn't well implemented. The compliance costs have been too high, the consumer uptake has been too low. But the government believes in the right of consumers to access and unlock the value of their data. But we need to do things differently to justify the substantial public and private investment in the consumer data right. Key to this is reducing costs. So we will streamline the way that consumers and small businesses engage with the CDR and reduce the compliance costs engaging with CDR. It's also clear that we need to ensure the CDR is consumer-focused and delivering genuine value. This is why I want to focus on unlocking use cases that consumers want and find valuable. Consumer finance and borrowing is at the top of the list. The CDR has the potential to help consumers get a complete picture of their financial positions and chart a way forward, and for intermediaries to help them with many of the regulatory and compliance requirements of accessing financial products. It can also reduce unnecessary friction and help Australians find better deals to support home ownership. With the CDR now implemented in the energy sector, there's an untapped potential to deliver better outcomes for consumers in this market as well. Shopping around currently requires an investment of time and research, which is generally beyond the reach and ability of most consumers. Innovative companies are starting to leverage a consumer's data through the CDR to make it quick and easy to switch to a better deal. This will be particularly valuable in areas of non-discretionary spending to ease cost of living pressures. There's also opportunities to bring down costs on small businesses, particularly in the area of accounting and financial services. So we're continuing to encourage industry to bring forward specific use cases and identify barriers to adoption, a very pragmatic approach. The CDR will also expand to non-bank lending data early in the new year with the intent to be fully operational by mid-2026. The use of CDR in non-bank lending provides opportunities for better value for money for consumers, and it also complements our reforms in the buy now, pay later sector. It will provide a safe, efficient replacement, and this is critical, it'll provide a safe and efficient replacement for dangerous practices like screen scraping. All of this is aimed at driving competition, innovation, and better outcomes for consumers and small businesses. I don't want to let go of the opportunity to address the comment that Simon made in the introduction about the threats of scams and fraud. It won't be a complete strategy unless we are addressing these threats, because the risk of financial loss and the risk of consumers losing trust in the digital economy and many of the services that you offer is high, and it's most acute in the face of scams. There has been a lot of work to be done. Under the previous government, scam losses were doubling every year. In the final 2 years of government, they hit $3 billion a year. They were set to hit $6 billion at the end of last year. So we've arrested this trend through the first phase of our anti-scam program, setting up a national anti-scam centre, providing more resources and facilities to the Australian Securities and Investment Commission, expecting more of our telecommunications providers in filtering out scam calls and messages. But more needs to be done. Pleased to see that we've arrested the international trend. Instead of scam losses doubling last year, they dropped. One of the only countries in the world where that has been so. but there's a hell of a lot more to be done. So last week I outlined the next phase in our scam prevention framework legislation that will allow the government to designate specific sectors within the ecosystem, within the economy, and create sector-specific codes of obligation for institutions in that sector, as well as economy-wide obligations to take strong actions to deter and prevent scams. If an institution, a business, breaches its code, there'll be pathways for victims to seek redress, including compensation. Initially, I've indicated that we'll be designated businesses within banking, within telecommunications, and within the social media platforms. We're starting there because that's where the primary area of risk is, but we know that as soon as we lock this down, we're going to have to move to other sectors and move to other sectors rapidly. Cryptocurrency platforms, superannuation funds, insurance lend themselves as obvious sites for designation. Our approach will ensure that institutions lift the protections that they're providing within their systems for their customers so that scams are prevented before they reach the consumer. Because we're committed to ensuring that Australia is the toughest target in the world for these criminals who are robbing billions of dollars from our citizens. And this is how we instil trust in the digital economy, and how we ensure that as we're encouraging innovation, particularly innovation in the financial technology sector, that we're doing it within safe guardrails, keeping people's information safe, keeping their money safe, ensuring that the economy works for Australians and not the other way around, and ensuring that the benefits, the undoubted benefits of the digital age are shared by all. It's been great to share a few thoughts with you this morning. I look forward to engaging with some more of you through a roundtable that we'll be having soon, but I wish you all the very best for the coffee, for the gelato, and the important conversations and networking opportunities you'll have over the time you have together. Thanks once again to the sponsors, BC Payments, the Victorian Government, and of course FinTech Australia for all the work you've put into hosting this really important gathering. Cheers.
Okay,